Welcome back. Let's look at operators in C. The last chapter we saw about calculator application where we took two numbers, added them and displayed the output. That was a very simple program, right? A calculator application. So operators are required when you have to perform some operations. In C, as you can see, we have 8 different types of operators. Now we will look at each of them in detail. So the most simplest of them is the assignment operator. We have already used it. So you have a variable. When you assign a value to the variable, you use the assignment operator. We have already used this. So let's skip to the arithmetic operator. So let's move on to arithmetic operators in this chapter. So arithmetic operators help use expressions, right? Where you can combine values, variables and constants and evaluate them, right? So the standard arithmetic operators are plus, minus, star and slash, which stand for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So there is a special operator called the mod operator, which returns the remainder. So let's look at assignment and arithmetic operators together in action. So let's create a simple program to demonstrate it. First, we'll use the assignment operator. I have two variables which are initialized, I equal to 3, j equal to 4. And now I'll have one more variable, integer k. Now k equal to I plus j. So this is addition. I can also do, let me do printf percentage d k. So the value of k is printed. Now I can do subtraction and again do the printf. I can do the multiplication. I can do the division. Note it's an integer division, so it won't result in decimal numbers. Then I can do the modulus operator. So now let's print the output for each of these. I'll do a backslash n so that it's clear how it is being, each one comes in a new line. So I'll include backslash n's here for each of these. Okay, let me run this program. So 7, I plus j is 7, I minus j is minus 1, 3 minus 4, I star j is 12, 3 into 4, I divided by j is 0 because 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. In integer terms it is 0. And then finally I mod j, which is 4 mod 3, right? J is 4, I is 3. So j mod I is 4 mod 3 and remainder is 1. This is how it works. So the same thing in float. I'll change the entire thing to float. Floating point addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Mod doesn't work for float. It works only for integer operations. So the same thing. The only change is going to be percentage f instead of percentage d. So let's do that. So mod doesn't work. So let's remove the mod. And now let's run this program. Same program. The only changes it's with, so 7.000 minus 1.0, 12.00, and you can see the 0.75. So that's how it works. And you can even assign it to the same number, right? So you're using I plus j. You can assign it to the same number. One can be a number, the other can be a variable. Even this works. So in the same program, we can do this as well, right? The other thing you can do is you can actually do, instead of doing I equal to I mod I minus 3, you can do I minus equal to 3. This is called subtraction with assignment. So what it does, it's equivalent to I equal to I minus 3. The same thing applies for multiplication as well. I star equal to j. You can do this. So this is equivalent to I equal to I star j. So this is the equivalent of that. So this is assignment with multiplication, right? So assignment with multiplication, assignment with subtraction. So this is the symbol for that. So these are the simple arithmetic operators. Now we have completed arithmetic and assignment operator. Next, move to the next one. Let's look at unary operators. There is a unary increment and decrement. There is a pre-increment and post-increment, pre-decrement and post-decrement. These are the four unary operators available in C. They have the highest precedence. That means these get executed first before anything else. So let's look at this. What is plus plus x? What is x plus plus? What will be the difference between them? Both plus plus x and x plus plus are both the same. They both will increment the value of x by 1. So the value of x, if it is 3, it will be incremented to 4. Both plus plus x and x plus plus will do the same. But then what is the difference, right? It all happens as to when the increment happen. Let's look at two examples that will help understand what it does. So int x equal to 5, int y, right? These are two variables. X is initialized to 5, y is just a normal variable. Y equal to plus plus x. In this case, first the increment happens. X will be incremented to 6 and then it will be assigned to y. So at the end of the statement, if you print x and y, both will print 6 and 6. So let's look at post increment now. Variable x is initialized to 5 and variable y is defined here. Y equal to x plus plus. So the value of x in this case after the statement is executed will be incremented to 6 because there is a x plus plus. But what happens in case of y is, so it's a post increment. So in this statement, the value of x will be still 5. It will not be incremented. Only after the semicolon is executed, it's going to increment. So the value of y stays as 5. So just this pretty confusing for beginners, right? So you can remember it in another way. Equal to, and then you see the plus plus here. So first the increment happens and then the assignment happens. In this case, equal to x is there first and then the increment symbol is there. So first the assignment happens of whatever be the value that is there in x. So 5 gets assigned and then x gets incremented. Very similarly for decrement operator as well. So if it is minus minus x, if value of x is 6 and value of y is 6, so plus plus x minus minus x would make both of them 5, or from 5 it will get reduced to 4. So both of them will be 4 if it is minus minus x here, and here if it is x minus minus, 5 gets assigned to y and then x becomes 4. So x will be 4 and y will be 5. So let's look at pre-increment and post-increment operators in action here. So integer x is 5 and y has been defined. First y equal to x plus plus. Whatever is the value of x will be assigned to y first and then x gets incremented. So y will be remaining as 5 and x will remain as 6. Second, y equal to plus plus x. So increment happens first and then the assignment happens. The value of x is 6. So 6 becomes 7, that gets assigned. So both will be 7, 7. X minus minus. So the value of x gets first assigned to y. So y becomes 7 and x becomes 6 here because x minus minus happens after that. And finally minus minus x. So x is 6 minus minus x will return 5. So that's how the output should be. So we run it 6 5 7 7 6 7 and 5 5. So that's how pre-increment and post-increment operators work. So let's look at bitwise operators. Bitwise operators work at a binary level. So there are actually 6 bitwise operators. Logic is bitwise and, bitwise or, bitwise exclusive or, bitwise complement, right shift by y, right shift, left shift, right? These are the operators that we have. So bitwise AND works like this. It's a logical AND. So if you're looking at 5 ampersand 1, right? So 5 in binary format is 101. Logic bitwise AND 001. So when you do a bitwise AND, 1 and 1 is 1, 0 and 0 is 0, 1 and 0 is 0. So 001 is the answer. So answer will be 1. So 5 and 1 is 1. 5 bitwise or 1. In this case, so you have, value of 6, 110 is 6, and bitwise or 101. So 0 and 1 is 1, 1 and 0 is 1, 1 and 1 is 1. So this value is 7. So bitwise or of 6 and 5 is 7. Exclusive OR, that is when it is both are 1, the value becomes 0, and both of 0, the value becomes 0. When one of them is 1, the other one is 0, the value is 1. That is actually exclusive OR. So in this case, 1 or 1, when both are 1, the output is 0. When both are 0, the output is 0. When one of them is 1 and the other one is 0, actually the output is 1. So that's the bit exclusive OR for you. And finally, bitwise complement. So bitwise complement is negation. 1100 becomes 0011. Right shift by 2 is actually divide by 2. Left shift by 2 is actually multiply by 2. So that's in quick summary the bitwise operators. These are very helpful when we have to do low level programming. So that's when bitwise operators are really powerful and useful. So relational operators are used to compare values of two variables or with one variable and a value, right? So if the value is true, then it returns 1. If the value is false, it returns 0. So let's look at it. Totally 6 relational operators are there. So in this case, less than. So if value of A is 3 and B is 4, if A less than B, if it is checked, then returns 1 because A is 3 and B is 4. It returns 0 if A is actually greater than or equal to 3. In less than or equal to case, A is 3 and B is 4. A less than or equal to B returns 1, right, in this case, because A is actually less than or equal to 4. And even if the value of B is 3, still it will return 1 because it will be equal. And very similarly, A greater than B, if A is 4 and B is 3, A greater than B returns true. If the value of A is actually 3 or lesser, it will return false or 0. So A is 4 and B is 3. A greater than or equal to B returns 1 because A is greater than B. And also it returns 1 if the value of A is 3 because A is equal to 3. So greater than or equal to B means it returns true. If the value of A is 2 or lesser, it returns false. A equal to 3, B equal to 3, in both are equal. You have to check it with double equal to. Lot of beginners actually make the mistake of checking with single equal to. Single equal to means assignment. The value of B gets assigned to A. A double equal to B will actually check the value of A and B and then return 1 only if both are equal. A equal to 3, B equal to 4 or any other value other than 3. A not equal to B is what we are checking here. So both the values should not be equal, right? These are the 6 relational operators. You can use simple printfs to check it. These are typically used in if statements, which is conditional statement, which we'll check in the next chapter. So logical operators, there are 3 logical operators in C. Logical AND, logical OR, and logical NOT. These are the 3 operators that are there. Don't confuse this with bitwise AND, bitwise OR, and bitwise NOT. They are different. They are used at a bit level. This is at a variable level. So remember, it has 2 ampersands, not 1, and 2 pipe symbols, not 1, and a single exclamation symbol for NOT. So how does it work? So if both the conditions are true, it returns 1. When one of the condition is false, it returns 0. So in this particular case, if x is greater than 5 and y is less than 5, it returns true. In either of these conditions is false, it returns false or 0. So OR symbol or logical OR, x greater than or equal to 10 or y greater than or equal to 10. In this case, if x is greater than or equal to 10, then it doesn't even check the value of y. When one condition is true, the statement is true, and then it returns 1. Y greater than or equal to 10, if that condition is true, if x is 5 and y is 11, still it will return true or value of 1. Not actually reverses. So if x greater than y 5 and y less than 5, that condition is false, only then the statement evaluates to true or returns 1. So these are the three logical operators. We will look at relational and logical operators in greater detail in the conditional statements chapter, which is the immediate next chapter. So ternary operator is the last of the ones. We will look at this when we discuss the conditional statements because it's very closely related to the if and else statements. So let's finally look at operator precedence. So in operator precedence, BODMAS rule applies, that is brackets, the same order that we have in mathematics. The BODMAS rules applies first. So in this case, actually the highest preference is for the brackets that you see here, then the unary operators, then the multiplication, division and modulus, after that addition and subtraction, after that the shift operators that you see here, then the relational operators, then the bitwise and bitwise or, right, and finally logical and logical or, and after that the conditional or the ternary operator, finally the assignment statements, and last of the lot is comma statement, right? This is the order of precedence in C. So if you have a statement where you have multiplication and addition together, the multiplication will be done first before the addition is attempted, right? So that's normally how it is done in math. The same thing is followed in C. It's always safer to use the bracket symbol. So that in essence completes this chapter. Let's look at the next chapter shortly.